Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kyle and the channel's called Kyle by the Creek. Last night I picked up this John Deere LX172. I was actually delivering a tractor and they gave me this to haul away. They didn't want it. It actually fired up, which was awesome, but the two front tires are completely flat. Anyway, in the dark, it was quite a challenge getting this thing from their property onto my trailer, and I just let it sit here last night. But I do have two wheels with some tires that are holding air. I'm gonna try to get some new rubber on this right away so we can pull it off the trailer and park it. I'm not gonna work on it straight away, but I'm happy that it runs. It's got a little 17 horsepower Kawasaki on it and hydrostatic. I think it's a 42-inch deck, might be 38, but I'm pretty sure it's 42. It's got a bagger and needs a little bit of hood work like they all do. But yeah, overall, I mean, this was a great pickup, especially for something that's free. So let's get these wheels on. I just put the bagger system on. As soon as I put tires on, this thing wanted to roll off the trailer. So I was holding it on with one hand and grabbing the GoPro with the other. Parking brake doesn't work. Alright, hood is, you know, held on a little bit with bungees. 38-inch deck. There it is. But it's not all cracked up, the hood, and you know, it's missing a plastic piece down there. I know, Carmen. Let's fire it up. I'll put the jump pack on it. Say hello to Carmen first. Hey, tractor dog. It was surging a bit at full throttle at full speed, but I can hear a really noisy idler under there. If the parking brake's on, that goes away. Yeah, that bearing is nearly seized. All right. I believe you can get this part. I could be wrong. You know what? Maybe the hood itself is broken there. Ah, that's too bad, because if this hood is complete, or if I can make it look complete, that goes a long way to sell this thing. But deck looks like it's in pretty nice shape. Nothing else is really damaged on it. I might have said it was a hydro. It's not a hydro, it's a 5-speed. Bagging system hooks up just fine. It's just missing the little rubber strap there, but yeah, the bags are in good shape. That one's pretty full. Seat is messed up. It's got a seat cover that's too big. I've put aftermarket seats on these with pretty good success, so might do that. Throttle control is snapped. Seems like it'd be easy to replace. You know what? I didn't check to see if the mowing blade's engaged, but yeah. From what I understand, this thing was a runner for him, and you know, they used this thing until they just couldn't deal with the tires going flat all the time, so they just parked it and it sat for, I don't know, actually I think he said he was using it over the summer, so it hasn't even been a year. But he said he would always have to jump it, always had a dead battery, always had flat tires, so I just sort of neglected, you know. All right, well, we'll work on it. Yeah, it's been a minute. Suppose we should work on this project now. Well, I have my tire inflator and a battery jumper, and hopefully that's all we need to get this thing up top so we can put it in the shed and start wrenching on it. Well, I'm impressed with the way it runs and drives. So that started right up, smoked a whole bunch, but it did sit for months. And transmission feels really smooth. I was confusing the brake and the clutch there for a little bit, so don't mind me. Should we look at what that seat looks like? Yeah. A new seat would be nice. as you can see, it's an impressive amount of dirt on this engine. We're gonna have to power wash this thing. But let's just see what we're working with here. Take a look at the air filter, the oil. Yeah, air filter looks great, except for the dirt I just pushed onto it. Yeah, oil looks clean, so I gotta check it on a rag here. It's a little low, but it's one of those things like, do you thread in or not? I don't know. It's not bad. Smells a little bit like gasoline. Not very surprising since it smokes so much. Just for giggles, we can check the voltage of this battery as it sits. Oh, 12.12. We might have ourselves a good battery here. Surprised that didn't start up. So looking over the hood here, we're all sorts of broken right where the hinge is. But there's an interesting thing with this hood. It's in two pieces at least. So this whole top part can be removed, and that's, well, every aspect of the hood usually breaks on these things, but a lot of times you see people with the top of it cracked. But ours is good. Our bottom part can be replaced with an aftermarket. The grill is in good shape. A broken headlight lens, but not terrible. So I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with this project, because I actually do really like this thing. It drives, I can't even explain it, you know, 5 times better than your typical Craftsman, Cub Cadet, Husqvarna, whatever. It is just smooth. It goes over bumps nicely. Kind of like it, and I could make this pretty nice. So I could replace that bottom portion of the hood. That's like $200 aftermarket though, so that's a big investment. The current bumper I have on the machine is got a little crack in it, but that's repairable. Some other parts of the hood, or that meet up with the hood when you close it, are a little cracked, but again, I can fix those. You heard it has a noisy idler under there. That would need to be replaced or repaired. And a new seat probably. That's what we're looking at. So, you know, what is that? Say that's $300, maybe a little more. I don't know, just trying to talk to myself about it. Oh, the brake lock, parking brake is broken. That lever, that needs to be replaced. The throttle, like I said. So, tires. All right, what, I mean, okay, what is that? $450? Is that crazy? Should we put that into this machine? If I do, you better like the video. I kind of want to do it. I haven't done a, you know, a Kyle by the Creek restoration. I know people hate when I call it restoration. You know, for a tractor flipper, doing what I'm talking about here, that's a restoration. I know it's not down to the nuts and bolts and not everything's OEM. I'm just trying to sell lawn tractors, and I do want a good reputation of selling, you know, quality machines that are well cared for and put back together nicely and look great, you know? So that's kind of what I like to do. All right, let's give it a power wash. I want to look into this hood just to make sure before I buy this $200 piece that I can remove this lower section here from the top section. Looks like just 4 10mm. Maybe I have to do these as well, but oh, there's another little broken piece. That's not so bad though. We can live with that. Oh no, that will be replaced with the lower part. Okay. Yeah, so let's get all this off. So we have 8 10mm to remove. Alright, so we want to guard this with our life because it's not cracked. Alright, here's a look at my phone. I got my eBay cart open for you guys. This is racking up to be pretty expensive. Alright, let's just go through the parts. Hopefully you can read it. I know it's probably not the best focus, but we got an oil filter, basically $12. Can of green and yellow OEM John Deere paint. That's going to be, you know, nearly $40 plus $16 of shipping. We have a seat, $140. We have a throttle cable, $12.81. Parking brake, handbrake thing, $20.61. And then the lower hood, $199. Altogether, $439.94. And I'm just hoping that I can find tires for the front. I'm not including that right now, and obviously I'll do an oil change and like filter and that sort of stuff, but I have all that. Yeah, what do you think? Is this thing worth pushing $500 of parts? I know some of you guys would never do that, but I'm thinking about it. Alright, so before I make the big purchase, I do want to investigate this bumper. So I removed it. It's got a really good sized crack, and then it almost cracked in half. So we got a crack here. So I'm going to take my plastic welding gun, you know, load it up with these little pieces here. And if I can repair this well enough, that will save me about $80 of buying a bumper. And I'll feel a lot better about making this purchase if we can do that. So what I need to do here is get this to be right in the right spot. See, even one stitches it back together so much better. Alright, I'm gonna push pretty hard together and get that one to be sealed up.
What is that?
Welding gun.
Cool.
Plastic welding gun. See how it stitched the crack up a little bit?
Yeah.
You melt that in there and then it keeps the plastic from cracking.
Yeah, but then what do you do with the little sticks?
Oh, I'll cut the sticks later. It's a great question. Because you definitely don't want those things sticking out. But yeah, that's something you do afterwards.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I like how you can
see it sinking in.
And changing color.
Yeah. It's melting some plastic. Alright, just ground down all the sharp points that my son was pointing out. And yeah, it's not going to look perfect, but my plan is to repaint this, so it's going to look a lot better when it's painted. But you might still be able to notice the crack. That's alright. that saves us $80. Okay, so since it went pretty well with that bumper, I think what I want to do before, again, I hit buy on that cart, just gonna take off this rear fender, because if we're gonna work on this thing, I want to make sure everything comes apart. I've learned from working on those Scott's mowers that are John Deere's that you could just pull on that. So it saved me from breaking things. Got this seat mostly loose. There's our seat. And then we should just have a few 13 millimeters to remove here. Should be pretty easy. 2 here. I don't think there's anything under this sticker. I'd like to leave that. It's a nice looking sticker. And then there's a 13 millimeter locking nut and another one on that side. And that fender should come right up. Yeah, and since we have access to this, I mean, we might as well clean this off, replace that fuel line, clean the tank. I mean, we could even paint the frame. I don't know if I'll paint the frame, but, you know, we got a good access to everything now. From what I remember, these gas tanks just pop right out, so let's go ahead and remove the fuel line. We can replace all the fuel line, like I said. Just gonna cut that for now. I don't want to damage that bushing if possible. What a mess. Underneath the tractor here, from what I could tell, it looked like it was this one, and it feels pretty seized. That one feels... I gotta get tension off this belt. Parking brake doesn't work, so that's a little difficult. Gotta put a vise on it or something. Clamp. Doesn't sound that bad, but... I mean, probably should just take all these off. That one... I can tell it's got the cap on the bearing. I'm only going to be able to grease one side of it. These I'll be able to grease both sides. So I might just look for that part and replace that one. I don't know. We'll see. Kind of annoying. The PTO bracket is in the way of getting that off. Just to review, there was a washer there and then the nut. Alright, guess we gotta remove the PTO real quick. Oh, it came off. That's great. It's just in case I ever start the engine, I'm gonna just put that in all the way. Oh yeah, that's... I think we're gonna be replacing that one. Alright, so this belt keeper is like a V pointed upward towards the engine. The nut with a flange, and then there's another nut with a flange. Easy enough. And this one's got the bump out that way. If you can put it all back together, just so you don't forget the way it goes. Easy one. Getting the shoulder or bump outs there. That might be hard to remove. In any case, easy enough. Alright, so I added that pulley. That was a little hard to find. We're calling this one AM37321. Whenever you look it up, it brings you to these plastic ones that are a little bit smaller than 3 inches. It's like 2.82, but this one's dead on the nose, 3 inches. Don't let any parts diagrams or AI fool you. You need this one, AM37321. It's the one that's really hard to service because, you know, it's got this protection on the bearing. All these other ones are serviceable. I know people are going to tell me I can stick something in there to grease it, but I just don't like that, so I want to replace it. Got a little bit more plastic welding to do here, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and buy all that stuff. So thanks for your support. Power washed everything again, and I'm just going to set it out to dry. That's already probably dry, but we're going to start getting ready for some paint prep. I want to do a little bit of sanding on some of those metal fenders just to help out with the paint so it adheres. But yeah, we got ourselves a really nice summer day here. You know, in Connecticut we don't like when it gets above 85, and it's probably 85 right now. But there's a little bit of a breeze. It's a little humid, but this is working weather. We can sweat and work. I don't mind that. All right, let's let this dry. I'm gonna just tidy up. I don't know, I might be done for the day here. But we got a good start on this. And I'm pretty excited about this project. The next day here, I did scuff up the surface with some, I don't know, might be 400 grit, something like that, and I taped off our decal there, degreased everything. I'm going to be painting those little side panels that actually attach to the frame. They don't really attach to the hood, but the hood closes up against them. I did scuff up the hood top here, but I didn't tape off the John Deere LX172 decal yet, so I'll get to that later. But yeah, let's get some John Deere paint on this. Here's the paint I'm using. I do have 2 more cans coming, but I already had some of this stuff. These are full cans here. So TY25624 is the green, TY25641 is the yellow, and I know there's some other, there's like Rust-Oleum John Deere paint you can get that's pretty much a match, but whatever you're getting, you just want to keep using the same type. So this is the paint I'm going to use on this project. Well, I wasn't sure I'd actually go this far with the mowing deck, but I had an awesome helper here. And we just did this all off camera, just him and I working together. It was nice. But yeah, we have the spindles came off just fine, the pulleys, springs, levers, everything came off pretty decently.
Nothing broke.
Nothing broke.
Surprise.
And one spring boinged away from us, right? But who found it?
Me.
You found it.
I was quite standing.
Yeah, you were stepping right on it. You're like, it's right here. I was like, this is going to be hard to replace. I don't know if I'll be able to find the right spring. And you're like, it's right here. So anyway, we're going to get this thing cleaned off a little bit, taped off. I'm going to try to preserve those 2 stickers on there. And then we can start talking about painting this thing. We have a few items on the workbench here. Just the spindles. These are the deck hanger hooks, the tensioner linkages and all that sort of stuff. We're gonna hit it with some paint. We got some Rust-Oleum metallic. This is just gonna shine up all this. This is already a metal color. It is metal, but we're just gonna make them look a little fancy here. Just a little update later in the evening. I've been painting these pulleys too. They all look uniform now. I didn't have any more black, so I just went with this storm gray metallic duplicolor, and it looks awesome. It's definitely not black, but it's very dark. It's kind of like gunmetal. I like it. Just sitting out here enjoying a summer Saturday, and big package arrived. You guys probably know what it is. Yep, it's our lower hood. There we go. Boy, it's actually a pretty nice color green, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to paint it. There's no way it's gonna look the same. Does not feel all that strong, so I'll have to be careful with it. But you know, pretty much we bought it because of these pieces here. Packages have been arriving. Some tires came in the mail. I'm out of paint though, so project's a little bit stalled, but the parking brake lever came in, so yeah, we could try to do that right now. All right, here's a look at the inside. So just a linkage and a spring. Alright, we're almost getting it free one-handed here, so. Oh, there you go. Now you can see how it's broken. The new one's got a little bit of a different color, but honestly, I kind of like it. Not too much on this tractor is red, so I think the orange does better. Yeah, I've been trying it, but go figure, still doesn't work. But the lever's not broken yet until I keep messing with it. Probably look underneath to see where whatever it is catches, and that part seems like it's worn out or something. We'll see, but it does look better. Okay, admittedly I need to become a little more familiar with which one's the brake and the clutch, but I have that one clamped down. I think that's the brake actually. but you have to also have the clutch down. See? Works perfectly. So good, glad we replaced that. So we're still waiting on some parts. You know, this pulley I'm gonna replace, but I have to knock out some smaller tasks as we wait. So let's start getting into these bearings here. And try to remove the seal on both sides. Okay, that one came up pretty easy. It's always good. Alright, start working on cleaning these out and repacking them. I'll add a little WD-40. I'll blow them out with compressed air. I'll get all this debris that's loose, get all that out of here. And then I got my grease gun here. We're just going to repack them with grease and clean off the seals and press the seals back in. Alright, everything's been cleaned out here except the tip of my grease gun. Let's get that clean too. Okay, there we go. 2 idlers packed with grease, basically like brand new. And then hopefully this one will arrive in the mail soon. Okay, just getting to some tire work here before it gets too hot. Tomorrow and the next day it's gonna be kind of brutal, but this morning is pretty pleasant. So got the rubber removed from the rims here. I had a couple different John Deere rims, and these aren't perfect, but I think they're gonna do. So let's start getting the new tires on now. Gotta love it when you get it first try. Starting to look a lot better already. Even found some yellow hubcaps for it. So we're gonna give this thing all new fuel lines, and this is probably the easiest it will be to work on it with the fender off and everything. I have a fuel filter, but it's really the wrong type. Not that this is gonna hurt anything, but usually use these for gravity type systems and these for fuel pumps, but no big deal. All right, let's get all this old line removed, and you can see this is like original fuel line. This one's a vacuum line. I'll probably just leave it because it doesn't see any fuel. It really doesn't rot out, and it's got the shielding on it, so it's probably absolutely just fine. Making some pretty good progress here. All new fuel line, heading to the carb. I put in a new shutoff. I didn't like the old one. Like I said, new filter. And the tank's in. And I cleaned out the tank, drained it out. It's clean, and the pickup tube on this is metal, which I like, instead of the plastic type. So we're looking good on the fuel side of things. So I'm kind of tired of waiting for parts. You know, when school's in session and I'm working every day, you know, I don't totally mind waiting for parts, but now that it's summer break and I'm just like, I'm going faster than the delivery guys can arrive here. So I think what I'm gonna do is just settle for how this is painted. I have 2 coats on it, and I have done some touch up just to get any spots that you know, don't have good coverage, and we're looking pretty good. I think I'm ready to reassemble. So I have all my parts here. You can see like everything's painted. Do have a set of new blades, and I do have all new OEM belts for this deck too. I actually have a new drive belt arriving too. So I don't even want to start calculating how much money I'm putting into this project, but throw 3 new OEM belts in there, and then possibly even the blades, or I don't even think I calculated the tires. So yeah, it's a lot. So from a parts mowing deck, I actually acquired 3 new anti-scalp wheels. I don't know if you remember the wheels that were on here. Here's the best of the 3. Here's the worst one, and then the worst one. So knowing what these wheels actually look like is a little hard to tell, but yeah, it's very similar to what this was. I did raise it up though, 2 clicks from where it was, and I don't know if that was to compensate for that worn wheel, but we'll see. We might have to change that slightly, but yeah, I'm glad we have a donor deck to get some parts from. Brand new blades. The spindles took grease. They took a ton of grease, so they were dry. But yeah, this is great. I think I'm going to clean this down, get a little dirt and grease off of this, and then I am going to touch up a few spots, but the majority of the work is done on this. I have the belts to put on, the grass deflector to put on, and the one belt cover, and then we're done. If the lighting looks weird today, we have a wildfire smoke coming in from Canada, so that seems to be the norm now for our summers. Get a couple of weeks out of the year that have this really weird glow. Everything feels orange. Feels like a storm is coming, but it's not. It's just the way things are looking now. Back underneath, and we have our idler came in. And like I said about the mowing deck belts, I do have a drive belt coming. And let's see, yeah, there is a pretty good, there we go. See how bad that is. So, you know, at first glance it just looked, you know, a little fuzzy, but there's a pretty good split or two. I mean, that's like that's on its way out. You know, that's like one of those things, like I always say, sell it to someone and then they start using it and immediately it breaks. That's not good. So yeah, it's gonna go a long way to get greased idlers, brand new belt, new idler replacement for the one that, you know, was kind of damaged. And I think we're gonna be in good shape under here. Alright, don't forget this belt guide. I got that on now. And you know, this one I can always change. I know it goes like this, but I might need to adjust it slightly. But yeah, we're all hooked up here. We need to take apart this drag link to get the belt off. And I'm gonna just lightly sand around this shaft here so that the PTO goes on and off. I'll grease it too. Yeah, there was some grease on there, so I think that's what saved us. Some paint has arrived. That's great. I got my parts set up, ready to be painted, trying to block things off so I don't get overspray everywhere. And our seat arrived too. Hopefully one can's enough to get this covered. A couple hours later, paint's dry. I tried to go really light and I have maybe like a third of a can left, but I think it's going to be enough. This was actually pretty much spot on with color, which was nice. So I'm going pretty light on that new piece of plastic. This was all sun faded and needed a bit more paint on it, but I'm actually really happy with the coverage on it. You can see it. Yeah, that looks good. All right, let's do one more quick coat before nighttime. You know, that's the best time for paint to dry is while you're sleeping, because then you can wake up in the morning and get after the project and you're not tiptoeing around wet paint or waiting all day for it to dry. You know, whatever you can do, get out there and, you know, get one more coat in before you go to bed. Yeah, so sky is still looking pretty weird today, but we're making really good progress. I have all the parts painted that I want to paint, and with everything dry I can start reassembly, and I'm waiting on just a few parts: a drive belt, throttle cable. Boy, I can't even think what else. Is that it? Might be it. The seat arrived, paint arrived. Sweet. Yeah, I'm excited to put this hood back together. So we have our new seat here, and I'm trying to transfer the safety switch over. So so I figured I might as well show you some of that. So the safety switch on the original seat over here is this little bracket that fits in here. It's held down with just a little clip, and then I'm not showing you the spring right now, but there's a spring that sits in here. Anyway, as you sit down, you put pressure on the switch, and then it tells the machine there's a rider, it's safe. Okay, now this new seat does have most of the stuff we need, but this doesn't quite line up. So I don't know, I'm thinking I'm gonna need to shorten up this metal, but I do want to keep this hole because I could drill a little hole, and then I have my little plastic tab to hold it down. I have the spring and everything that goes underneath that cup. So maybe a little modification, should be able to get it. So that actually went really well. This tab here actually holds in the pin that holds the seat to the bracket. And yeah, now we have our safety switch will still work. Everything lines up the way it should. There's our new seat. Yeah, that's looking great. Well, let's assemble the rest of the deck here. Take off our masking tape. And here are our two OEM belts. So this, I believe, is the deck belt, and then this one goes to the PTO. So this is a 1/2-inch belt. Yeah, and then this one's a 5/8 belt. They're both V belts, but this one's a little bigger. The 1/2-inch belt is M82462, and the 5/8 one is M77988. And those were, yeah, those were on eBay and OEM John Deere belts. And here's the belt guide. I had an interesting time figuring out what I was gonna do with the 38 here. It's just literally the numbers are stickers. And so what I decided to do was just mask off a rectangle around them. So now it kind of looks like that whole thing is a sticker, but it's really just the numbers 3 and 8. I don't know, I think that was pretty clever because I had no good way to remove those stickers or mask them off. It would have taken absolutely forever to put masking tape on those numbers. But yeah, just a rectangle around it. You could see it looks like a rectangle, but it kind of looks like an old sticker. I like it. And I painted the bolt heads and got new washers that hold on that belt guide. So let's start with the belt here. I'll do my best to remember how this went together. I went back in my phone to look for pictures. I have pictures of the deck after I took the belt off. But anyway, I think it goes like this. Loosen this. Yeah, that looks correct. That looks about right. All right, I'm gonna struggle to put this grass deflector on. These are not that easy. All right, there we go. Don't mind the struggle here. We'll get it. We got it. That's what you want. There we go. So my drive belt, or should I say belts, came in. I only ordered one, but two showed up. I have the A96K and the A88K. And luckily I have, there's my old belt under my stool. I kept the old belt, so seems to line up with the A88K. That's the one I'm going to put on right now. And yeah, not really sure. I'm going to look back in my order. What did I do here? But I have another belt. Not sure why. Okay, there's the belt. I don't know if you saw me in time lapse just messing with this. I noticed a little bit of interference right there and just had to move that pulley to the left a bit. And we're good. Oh, I gotta tighten that down. Gotta remember all your things. Yeah, well, you know, I just couldn't leave this project alone without doing a little bit of engine work, but actually I don't need to do a thing under here. We're looking at the valves. Spec is 6 thou for both valves, which makes it nice and easy. And this thing is perfectly in spec. That's my 6 thou feeler gauge. I'll go to 5 thou, and hopefully you can see it slips in too easily. And 7 thou is clearly too big. Oh, okay, it's okay on like the exhaust, but I'm not going to touch it. So these are really easy to adjust though. So I have like an Allen attachment for a drill bit. This is, I don't know, HW4. You just need to find one that fits in, but there fits in there, and a 12mm nut, and you can just crack the nut loose, position the tightening screw where you need it, and then tighten the 12mm nut back up, and that would get you your valve adjustment. But yeah, there's no reason to mess with this. There's nothing wrong here, but just wanted to make sure, you know, obviously this tractor has been somewhat abused. It's just, you know, well used. So what are the chances the valves are going to be good? Chances were they were going to be out of adjustment. But this thing might have been serviced. There was a new spark plug in there. You never know. Maybe they brought this thing to the shop. It does have the shop logo stickers all over it when we got it. So I think we're in pretty good luck here. This morning I did end up doing one more coat. I had enough paint. There was a little bit of splotchiness, so I went ahead and did it. But yeah, it's about 3 o'clock now and everything's dry. So we're gonna put this hood back together. I'm gonna take the painter's tape off the decal there, and then we'll at least get the grill lower portion, upper portion, and then maybe the bumper. Yeah, I think I can attach the bumper now, and then we gotta attach the bumper to the tractor frame. I gotta wait though to put the hood on. Well, I guess I could put it on. I'm just thinking the throttle cable, it's gonna be a lot easier if the dash is all taken apart with the steering wheel off the way it is now. But I actually could put the hood on potentially. So let's see how far I get. Yeah, this is where we are right now. I even wired up some headlights. I have to keep working on those headlight lenses. They're not cleaning up real great. Oh yeah. This thing is looking really nice. Okay, we're down to one part, guys. The throttle cable. Who would have thought, huh? Our throttle cable came in. All right. So the last major piece of the puzzle, or at least pieces of the repair puzzle, are here. And yeah, we're gonna get right after it. Since the dash is not completely together, it's been tricky to get that hood open, but we'll work on that once we get everything secured. Good, that's correct. So the good news is the PTO does work, but it didn't seem like it was really doing anything. Oh, I'm off. There we go. I'm off the pulley back there. All right, let's get that fixed real quick. Everything else was fantastic. Yeah, this thing is driving just fine, and in the time lapse it took me a little while to get that deck level. That was actually kind of tough, but got it sorted out. Woo! How sweet does this engine sound though? It is quiet and smooth, and I got the headlights working too. Okay, I got the belt resituated. Let's give this another try. Gonna go up to choke. Gotta put it in neutral. Still in neutral. Oh, there we go. Not bad she is. I just finished cutting with it, so I'll show you how it cuts because it really does a great job. But I bet you forget that this thing had a bagger system with it. So yeah, I did some mowing and then I washed it down just to get all the grass clippings off of it, attached the bagger system, and man, I got the hood opening great now. Had to do just a little bit of filing over here on the plastic, and I even took away the hood keepers that are like right here. I've done that before on Scott's and John Deere's. Something about the way that it wears, it gets it so it's almost impossible to open the hood, and then people end up cracking the hood top because they're just yanking on the thing to open it up. But anyhow, that shouldn't be a problem for someone in the future. It opens easily now. I know some of you are big fans of these Kawasaki's. These FC420Vs are really nice. Anything similar to that size, and it just sounds different. You know, it's got a way different sound than the Briggs or the Kohlers. You gotta love it. It's quiet and it's smooth, just in a different way. Yeah, I mean, you know, you end up paying a lot to have a hood that just opens on a John Deere. It just is what it is. But what else do I really like? There's no noise coming from the drive system, so I'm glad we swapped out that idler. I'm glad we greased everything. You know, the deck is super quiet too. I don't know if you could tell, but I mean, I think we just have this thing dialed in perfectly. Just switching to super wide view here for a moment. I really don't like the film in this mode. Things look so distorted, but it is kind of nice to see a little shop all in one shot. But anyway, I'm trying to get better at cleaning up after a project too. Like all this was covered in cardboard and parts, and I just took a couple minutes here and sweeped it out, threw away all the trash, and we're ready for more projects. I told you I didn't like the way these headlight lenses came out. I tried to clean them, they fogged up. The plastic was not doing well. I tried to sand it, it just became a debacle. Anyway, got some parts here, M116097 and then M116096. This was actually kind of expensive, but I think it's gonna look good, so we went with it. I've got these loose. Sun's coming out here. Yeah, you can kind of tell. Yeah, that's the right one. Gotta be gentle. They do not feel very sturdy. Let's try that. Okay, so the engine surge is back. So I do want to take this carburetor off and give it a clean. Let me see if it'll surge for you, because it's kind of been intermittent. Alright, should be easy enough. Let's get the carb off and see what we can clean out. Well, the carb is just filthy on top, so... Oh, we actually do have an adjustment. I didn't notice that, or couldn't get access to that before. That's like on the engine side. Well, anyway, we have it off. So let's just go for it here. Oh yeah, there were floaties in there. Oh, look at all that. Yeah. Alright, looks like a pretty easy clean, but this definitely needed to happen. Okay, just blew it off, and we cleaned it out. I think all we needed was to get some of that gunk out of there. I think it's gonna be fine, but we'll find out soon enough. Yeah, it's hard to say this is the ideal ending for this video here, but I would have rather had this thing get sold on film, but I've had it listed for a week. Literally no bites besides a few scammers and, you know, someone just a little jealous, I think. But I think I'm gonna lock it up in my temporary storage for now, and I think we're gonna close out this video. Yeah, so what I'll do is lower the price. I'm curious to see what you guys think I should list it at, but clearly I had it listed too expensive. But, you know, through the next couple weeks, I'll lower it down and we'll see what happens. Stay tuned in the comments section if you want to see where it's at. But yeah, drop your comment. How much would you list that tractor for? Well, like I said, that's a wrap on this project. And I really love having the time during the summer to put all this work into these tractors. I don't even know what to call this at this point. Is it flipping tractors or is this like restoring tractors? We're kind of in the middle. I think what I've been trying to do with some of these upper end tractors, I know this one's not crazy upper end, but you get the idea, is make them as good as I possibly can. So it's a lot more than a tractor flip. I watch a lot of the tractor flippers out there and they're putting out ugly tractors a lot. Nothing wrong with that because people will buy them. Around here they really don't buy them. So I find myself doing more and more to make them more appealing, and then every once in a while I kind of go all out, you know. So this was what I would call all out for me, and it's restoring it as much as I possibly can. So I had a lot of fun doing this. I really love painting and the cosmetic aspect of making tractors look as nice as they possibly can, and I do like listing them for sale and kind of seeing how people react to that. So let's hope this one gets sold pretty quick here. All right, everyone, I appreciate your engagement, you liking the video, sharing the video, subscribing to the channel. There's a lot of you guys out there who watch my channel who don't subscribe. So please subscribe. That way you won't miss anything. And I'm looking forward to making a bunch more tractor videos for you guys. So please stay tuned. Again, my name is Kyle. The channel's called Kyle by the Creek, and we'll catch you guys on the next tractor video.